All right, Shane, next game on the docket, man, this should be one hell of a game here in the evening. Number 10, Ole Miss at number 18, Auburn. The Tigers, Shane, favored by 2.5 points. The over-under, 66.5 total points. This thing is kicking off at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, 6 o'clock Central, of course. Auburn leads the all-time series 34-11, and the Tigers have won 5 in a row. And last year won 35-28. Who do you like in the matchup?
Oh, Mike, I like them both. That's the problem. Auburn feels like they're kind of finding themselves, their identity. Mm-hmm. I think that I've watched that Arkansas game, Mike, and I think that's part of me is like, man, Auburn is back, baby. But then part of me is like, well, if that went the other way, then Arkansas would have won the game, So it's almost like, which is it? Is Auburn back, or did the stars need to be aligned for them to beat the Hogs last week? So I think that's my biggest X factor there, because I know what Ole Miss is. We all know what Ole Miss is. They are a fantastic offense. They do just enough on defense. They will outscore anybody except Alabama right now. So can Auburn do that? Can Auburn outscore Ole Miss? One of the most popular, I guess, tweets that you get this week is a lot of people are wanting me to fix this one. They wanted me to keep picking against Auburn because it's worked up to this point. And Mike, I'm torn. I am torn on this game again. I just, right now, being able to sit in a stand and watch this Ole Miss team, and then what they did last week, this is a team that is better than when they played Alabama the first time. Mm-hmm. I truly believe it. They are starting to find their identity again. These receivers are finally starting to make some crucial catches. They're not out of the woodworks yet, but I just cannot. I can't put my money on Bo Nix. I've seen too much on him. I've seen up and down. You want to talk about just a bipolar type of play. It is definitely Bo Nix. Obviously, he's hitting right now, but for the life of me, I cannot find a way for Auburn to win this game. Even though it's at home, I can't. Miracles happen, but I think Lane Kiffin wins this one. So give me Ole Miss and the points, 41, Auburn, 35.
Why do you hate Auburn, Shane?
I'm telling you, I've hated on them all year long, and look where they're at. So I'm sure the fans are excited that I'm taking Ole Miss, but for the life of me, Mike, I mean, think about what you've seen. I know what Ole Miss is. I don't know what Auburn is yet.
Mm-hmm. I got one more stat for you, Shane. I looked this up right before we hopped on the line here, but Bryan Harsin, we're still learning about this guy, being in the first year in the SEC and no history in the conference. 7-1 as a head coach, Shane, after the bye week, which obviously Auburn is coming off a bye, so this will be his first opportunity to improve that. I mean, that's pretty outstanding. I mean, that gives you an indication of just how good this guy is at managing the bye week. So many things going right for the Auburn Tigers this season. Now, I know the Georgia game, that was huge, but it was not in the evening. I think this is going to be the biggest home game of the year for the Auburn Tigers up to this point. Of course, they've got Alabama here in a couple weeks, so certainly an opportunity to top that. But, yeah, this thing's going to be a buzzsaw, Shane, and Ole Miss, you're coming off games against LSU, Tennessee, Alabama. I mean, so many big games back-to-back. Arkansas as well thrown in there. So, man, I'm right there with you, Shane, though. I mean, Matt Corral, Bo Nix. I think this game is really going to come down to, the coaching battle of Lane Kiffin and Derek Mason going head-to-head. Who wins that battle? I certainly got to think that, the better quarterback, like you said, is how can it not be anyone other than Matt Corral in this matchup? But maybe – but then again, on the flip side, Auburn's got that hammer, Tank Bigsby, baby. So I'm just as torn as you, Shane. And as we're sitting here debating these picks, I'm going to flip-flop mine.
Uh-oh.
Auburn's winning it 33, Ole Miss 30. That's how tight I think this thing is. And I would not be surprised either way, but I think Auburn covers the spread, and this wild ride continues for one more week at least. And Auburn, remember, Shane, they still control their destiny in the SEC West. They could be the team that reaches Atlanta by season's end if the Tigers can beat the Crimson Tide at home, which, hell, it's happened many, many times before when no one saw it coming. You know what?
Oh, man. This is going to be such a good game, Mike. I want to give Auburn the nod. I'm like, hey, it's at home. It's loud down there. But, dude, we've seen this team perform under violent crowds, literally dodging mustard packs
right.
and water bottles. And these guys, they were never shaken. There was never false starts. There was never – I thought we would see some of that. So I don't think crowd noise – you got one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the country. And until he's not under center, I cannot pick against Ole Miss right now. So I'm with you. I think it comes down the wire, but I think Ole Miss has the last series.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that though, Shane, because that almost factored into my decision too, because I think Auburn's going to create such a hostile environment, but Ole Miss should be geared up for that too after playing at Neyland Stadium. So, man, that just makes this pick even tougher to make. You know what?
Absolutely.